Hi, everybody. We're back today with another episode of Howie's Hometown Heroes, where we feature business owners, entrepreneurs, and community members who are doing extraordinary, amazing things right there in their own community. And sometimes their community is like the world. Today, we're in Phoenix, Arizona with my good friend Mel Carr. And Mel runs a virtual assistant company called Cloversy. We're going to find out all about that and the women that work for her and all kinds of good stuff. So it's going to be a good time. But let me tell you a little about her first. This is really fascinating. Fascinating. So first of all, she's the innovator and founder of, not just founder, proud founder of an executive virtual assistant company, Cloversy, and it empowers businesses to do what they need to do, but not have to be bogged down with some of the administrative stuff. The company is 100% women led and U.S. based, right? So you know what you're getting, and they're really fine tuning the efficiency of businesses that they work with. Really great. She's dedicated to helping small businesses save time, money, and stress, shaping women's unique identities and paving the way for their success. So that's very cool. So thanks. And you're going to see in the back her background, six-figure chicks. This is a fascinating thing too. We're going to find out more about that. So thanks for being here, Mel. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Howie. I can't wait to share all the awesomeness I
There
have.
you go. Of course, of course. So tell us, Mel, what's a fun fact?
Fun fact.
Yeah,
All
tell us
right,
something.
are you ready?
I don't know. Could be weird. Let's see.
All right. So, fun fact, I've been in Arizona for about 6 years. Before that, I lived in a tiny little island in the Marshall Islands. So I was there for a number of years, working as a government contractor, and I rode my bicycle to work. There were no really cars that we had, or it wasn't even really big enough for us to use cars as transportation. There were work vehicles, but everyone else rode their bikes to work and all around the island.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. How'd you get that job? That sounds like a fun, I don't know if it's a fun job or not, but at least you got to go.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Australia right before that, and I was on a work visa. So I lived there for a number of years, and then kind of the expat life kind of fell into my lap, and I went to the Marshall Islands as a government contractor.
And what was your role there? What kind of job was
I was in HR
it? Oh,
training, facilitation, executive
yeah,
administration. Yeah.
yeah. A little of what you're doing now, actually. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
very good. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I hope we get some pictures of that. That'll be a lot of fun. Did you learn to surf there? I was wondering.
No, I didn't surf. However, I did stand up paddleboard a
Oh,
lot.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fishing and other water sports, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, tiny island. You don't do much else than lay on the beach or in the water.
Well, okay. Those two things sound good to me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Okay with that. So let's dig in a little bit to your background and kind of where you came from. Um, so Cloversea is Cloversea your first entrepreneurial endeavor, or did you do anything else before that?
Yeah, so this is my first company. I've helped smaller businesses and other organizations run and be successful and back in my work days for somebody else. But yes, this is my first venture. I'm working for myself this time, and it's been
Ah,
about 5 years.
oh, cool. So what was that epiphany moment that got you started doing this?
Yeah, well, it kind of comes back to the Marshall Islands. So
Hmm.
after I finished my contract there, I moved to Arizona to be close to one of my good friends. And I took a couple of months off to get acquainted with the area. And then when it was time to go back to work, I was putting my applications out there and I just wasn't feeling anything. I'm so tired of working for somebody, giving all my time and attention to others' success. How can I work for myself? So I surrounded myself with small business owners, started networking, and personal assistants kind of fell into my lap at first. And then with the small business owners that I had befriended, they were all like, well, why don't you use your expertise in HR and become a
Yeah.
consultant or something? And I
Nice.
was like, well, maybe not a consultant. So I started just, broadening my offerings to
Yep.
social media management. And then it just kind of ballooned from there. COVID happened and my business grew.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, very cool. Very cool. Do you have any challenges? So, I guess, was COVID a help or a hindrance? Depending on the business, it could have gone, other businesses could have gone either way.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it was definitely helped my business scale because everyone was forced to go online virtual.
Yeah.
All the business owners that had brick and mortars or anything, small teams, they either had to reduce their team size, go online, and we were there to kind of help facilitate that change for the
Mm,
businesses and kind of help take that stress off their shoulders of having to do everything online, especially if they hadn't before. A lot of people were like, well, I don't know how to operate this much
yeah.
virtually.
Yeah. So, all right. So how did you, at first it was, well, first of all, I guess, did you have any mentors from before that maybe helped you get that started, or how'd that work out?
Yeah, well, I don't know that I had any mentors from the past. It was, all about my previous work experience when I lived on Maui, was working for smaller businesses, like their operations, running the companies for the owners.
Oh,
And I was able to use that expertise and experience and the HR side to really understand where those pain points were already. And then, it's all different having the idea and being or doing what you're good at and then running a business. That's completely another beast in
that's for
itself,
sure. That's for sure. That's for
right?
sure. That's a-
So, when my business started growing, I was like, well, how am I going to continue to make sure that I have the support? So that's when I brought on business coaches and
ah,
started mentoring with fellow business owners so I
yep.
could learn from them.
Good. Good. Yeah. So that's great that you kind of reach out to other people who are your peers in other businesses. That's a great way to do it. And the networking things that we get involved in certainly make it easier for that. They're not strangers really anymore when you meet people like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Very cool. Now, how did you hire? Now you had to hire people, right? So was that a challenge? How did that work out?
Yeah, in the beginning it was challenging just because it was like, you want to hire the right people, kind of like what we experience with our clients as we onboard them.
Sure.
You want to make sure that you bring on the right people to your team that have that experience and knowledge that you're seeking.
Yeah.
You have to invest in yourself and your company with training those people. I get it all the time, like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to train these people. It's like, if you find the right people, you don't necessarily need to spend, hours or days training those people because it's not their first rodeo. They know what
They
what
know
to
what's going
do.
on. That's kind of the thing. It's right. Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
Did did you have some challenges that along the way? I mean, did you get the wrong people sometimes?
Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's I think par for the course, right? You may look fantastic on paper and sound really great that first meeting. But once you start working with the people, you either have to, you may run into problems where they don't mesh well with the team entirely,
oh,
or maybe the projects at hand are a little more out of their scope of work. And you really don't know that fully until you dive in and start working with them. And
mm,
then we've had a couple of executive VAs leave Cloversy to, work on their own company, which I
oh,
love. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't want to be losing really key people. However, I'm super proud that they're able to take the leap and create their own company or organization.
yeah. I mean, that's sort of right. You kind of look at it two ways. It's either they are either your competition, or maybe you can collaborate on stuff moving forward. Has that worked? Have you done that?
Yeah, most definitely. Because I mean, like people always ask me, you competing with the cheaper labor
Oh
overseas, or
yeah.
because like they're like, well, how do you compete with that? It's like it's no competition. People get what they pay for. So if they want to have that less expensive workforce and support, then they can spend that extra time and less money, but it's
Mhm.
costing their time, which is invaluable.
So it really just looks like anything else. It always comes down to value. What does the
Right.
customer really value, and what do you value in them, in your employees, right? And as long as you lay out here's the rules. You want to play in our game? Here you go. And right. And when they do play by your rules, right, you pay them a little more, and then you have a good rapport with the whole staff, and it becomes like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like to just easily tell people who are, on the fence with hiring virtual assistants, or, investing a little more for the right type of team. So,
Mhm.
Cloversy is an executive virtual assistant
Ah, that's
agency.
the key. That's the key, right?
So our clients, they get an executive team on their side at for the time that they need that support. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-time executive assistant. However, they have the flexibility to have as much support as possible that fits within, their budget and their goals, and that they get a dedicated executive virtual assistant, and then they get me as more of a business strategist to look at their business from the outside in, so they then
Mm,
have more than one just support system looking at the business. We're here to see what's working, what's not working, where the gaps are, how we can offer and provide insight into things that they haven't even thought of or are doing to help grow their business.
that's good. I've had in other businesses we hired not a virtual assistant, but an answering service, a
Mm-hmm.
live person to do that. I didn't want people to leave a voicemail message. That I didn't want, and because I figured they would just hang up.
Yeah.
If nobody's answering the phone, I'm going somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So that I'll say that part, it worked. It worked. Sometimes the people weren't exactly didn't say exactly the things I wanted to say, but it was very rare. I mean, it took um, and if there was an issue, I would just call the boss and say, "Look, can you say this instead of that?" So
Mhm.
and they were
Yeah.
actually so that worked out actually pretty well. It kept me from answering the phone all day. So
Good.
that was that was the goal. So that worked out good. So tell me, but my sense is your virtual assistants are way more than somebody answering the phone. What other kinds of things do they do?
Yeah, great question. So our services kind of go over the customer communication or the client's communication needs. The top pick, everyone, most of our clients are like, please do my social media management. Like they're
Oh,
the smart ones because that's probably not their zone of genius.
sure.
I always like to say, do what you do best, outsource the rest, because the rest is going to hold you back in your business from growth.
Exactly.
So we create the content, the digital graphics.
Oh,
We look at the competitors. We look at what they've posted in the past. We're there to ensure that we're creating content that's in their brand and their voice, that's speaking to the community and their targeted markets.
that's a
From there, sorry.
yeah, yeah. That's almost more of an art than a skill to be able to,
Yeah.
right, to put that kind of
Yeah.
stuff together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we take care of from there. It goes into creating the blogs, creating images for marketing material, all their digital marketing assets. We create their email newsletters, so we handle their CRM systems.
Okay.
We take on their own business emails or their admin at emails, so
Ah,
they
that's what.
direct
Okay.
line communications.
Yep.
We do email and calendar management. We provide insights and thoughts on how to make that process more effortlessly on their side, because we spend way too much time in our inbox.
Me too. In fact, I probably don't spend enough time because there's like 100 emails a day that I just don't answer.
And
And,
that's okay, but that's okay until miss replying to an important message,
yeah, sure.
get lost in all the other spam or other, content
Yeah.
that bogs up your inbox. And I was just giving a talk on that this morning to, 30 people, business owners, and just kind of sharing the knowledge of how to, make a few changes into your daily process around your inbox and calendar management, just to decrease that clutter and really have a productive day without being in your inbox all the time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think it almost becomes the bright shiny object. I got when it dings and I said, oh,
Yeah.
what's that about?
First,
Eh,
turn off your notifications.
yeah, or just well, it's Outlook. It doesn't ding actually. Well, you know what? It doesn't ding, but the little icon at the bottom of the screen goes bing. You get three, four, five. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably turn that off.
Yeah. It's a, yeah, squirrel.
Squirrel. Exactly. 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 And
Yeah.
and I don't know. I have one, two, I guess three email addresses that are
Mm,
for different things.
yeah.
So there's another, well, whatever. I don't have to tell you my problems, right?
Well, that's it. It's all of our problems.
Yeah,
Small business owner, entrepreneurs, people that have not yet delegated some of those tasks, are faced with those pain points.
yeah.
I speak because I live and breathe it.
You live in,
I'm drinking the juice.
all right, well, that's really cool. Well, tell me about your staff now. Now, empowering women, I think is awesome. Where are they? Are they in the Phoenix area or are they all over the country?
They're all over. We have a good handful here in the valley just because they've been, referred to me or through, other
Mhm.
references. And then we have across, central and eastern so that we can accommodate different time
Oh,
zones. Yeah, but it's
ha,
a great
so
dynamic team of women with the knowledge and expertise in different fields. So that, if we have somebody in a certain industry that we could pull from, this person's talents to really
ah.
understand, what they need.
Oh, good. So you have people all over the place and you have a very tight, how many people do you have? You don't mind?
I've got a dozen ladies.
Doesn't lay. Okay. So you have this all over the place, right? How do you empower them or create that family, of women all over the place to build that, cohesive group that when they're not really right nearby?
Yeah, no, and that's the great thing about, the power of Zoom.
Yeah.
We have our weekly meetings to start the week off right on a positive foot. So every Monday morning, the entire team of Cloversy meets to go over different client projects, what's working, what's not working, questions,
Hmm.
roadblocks that they're having,
Hmm.
and then we can use our team of, knowledge base to offer, their thoughts. And, yeah, they may be like, oh my gosh, I can't clean out this inbox. I'm having a lot of trouble organizing or setting
Oh,
rules.
okay.
Does anyone else have an idea on this? And and then we always throw in kind of a fun question to end up, like, what are you going to be for Halloween, or what are you doing for the holidays, kind of thing.
Huh. Well, that's a great way to kind of put it all together.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
great because we're all working virtually for the most part. So it's nice to come together and feel like you're a part of a team, in like we are used to in the corporate days.
do you ever actually get together live and in person? Do you make things?
I do with a few people here in Phoenix, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
We do have a few clients that have in-person breakfast or other events
Oh,
that we work in person with them.
oh, cool. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So that's great when you can put things. I have like for me, I have clients all over the country also, and many,
Hmm.
I've never met, but um, and when COVID started, it was, how are we going to talk to these people? And Zoom came along, right at the right time. But now more often, well, we still have clients all over the place, but for local people, clients or colleagues or networking partners or whoever, really try to meet in person because it really
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's nice to meet in person, especially after the few years that we were all in lockdown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I always choose in person over virtual when I can.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I'm happy to visit Phoenix. I've never been there.
Right
I'm
on.
not. I can. I guess I can dress as a woman. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see what we're going to. Anyway, so what? So how do you balance being like CEO of a couple of 12 women, which I don't know how cohesive everybody's on the same page all the time. I mean, um, and right, building a team, being a CEO, run the company, getting new clients, all that kind of good stuff. It sounds like a talk about, a lot of juggling balls in the air. How do you keep it all straight?
Yeah, well, like I said, I follow what I promote. I delegate as much as I can. So that gives me the freedom to go out there and nurture new client relationships and network to meet new
Mhm.
people. I also have, like you mentioned earlier, the Six Figure Chicks,
Yeah, I was going to ask you that next,
which
actually.
is, expanding. So we just launched the second international best-selling book, Six Figure Chicks Phoenix, and it was a huge success in the launch. And we're doing a book in every state. So in order for me to do that and really pay attention to the growth of Six Figure Chicks and empowering those women and women all around the world, I need to ensure that I have the right people supporting me that can be in my inbox, that can create my digital content, that can be my right hand person that understands exactly what my mission and passion is.
Good, good, good. That's great. How now? I was going to say, how did Six Figure Chicks actually even come about? What was that epiphany moment to say do this?
Yeah, I love that because it comes from a lot of what I preach about. Great things to have in order to scale your business is to have a business coach. So I learned very early on in my career or my development of Cloversy to get a business coach. So my first business coach asked me what I wanted to make my first year in business, and I was like,
Okay,
I don't know. I just want to make enough to earn a living and have a good life. She's like, well, you kind of have to put a dollar amount to that so we kind of know what to work towards. And so I said, okay, fine, $100,000. She was
okay.
like, okay, she wrote it down. And then she provided the tools necessary for my business to grow and for me to get that $100,000 mark and more my
Uh-huh.
first
In the
year.
first year, wow,
Yeah.
that's a major accomplishment for sure.
Yeah. And so my second business coach had a mastermind and she brought in a publisher that said the first thing that you should do in order to, if you want to have your own book, to be able to market yourself and level up your expertise, is to do a book collaboration with other authors so that you only have to write a chapter, not a
Oh,
whole book. And I was like, okay.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in. So I bought the package for the publisher for my book collaboration. And then after the first book was released and hit international bestseller, I was like, okay, what do I do now? So I collaborated in other authors' books. And so I was like, I want to do more Six Figure Chicks because I saw that there's a need for us to, share our stories, share it with other women so that they know that they're not alone. They can accomplish the success. They can become even more successful than us. We all face those roadblocks, such as imposter syndrome or
Yeah.
perfectionism, and you're not alone. Like there's so many women out there and men face these challenges, and or you know you're like, how did you become so successful, or how did your business reach to the next level? We share those insights. And then I took it down a little bit to say, let's do it in a community base so that all the authors can really be together, participate in the book process together, have events, have lunch and learns, and have that book publishing party and all that good thing in person. And I'm like, the second book was such a success, and to see the relationships form between the authors
Wow.
was amazing. And they were able to do, you know, business with each other and create new friendships and alliances and just grow their circle of influence so much more than if they had, they had never done the book, they would not have known each other.
That would
They
in the
would have
first
been
place.
able to, rise each other up and empower them. So I said, okay, let's do it across the nation. Everyone deserves a six-figure chick book in their city. Well, at least one. um, and I saw that, I felt it, and it's such an amazing thing to be able to empower these women authors with just one story at a time.
And they're in, I like the idea that they're together, and they build their own community. I
Yeah.
have like two questions, I guess. So did one of the coaches actually recommend this strategy, or
Yeah,
do
so
you
the
come,
second coach at that mastermind, they talked about
that's, I talk about
the
it.
like the marketing measures of having a
Okay.
book,
Yeah.
um, and be up leveling your expertise and being able to have something tangible to like provide when you're speaking on stages,
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
give as client gifts or anything like that. And it's also a great thing, my name's across many platforms now. Um, and to sell the books. I was at another mastermind recently, or a conference a couple of months ago, and Laura Langmeyer was on the stage speaking about selling her books. And she's like, when people make books, sometimes when I first heard about it, they're like, create a book, you have a marketing tool, give it away for free, your name is out there. I'm like, okay, that's great. Laura was like, don't give away your book, sell it. Like it's there for a reason. Um, and it was empowering. I actually sold my first book at the conference, like, instead of just giving it away for marketing pieces. And it was, it's not a huge thing, but it just really empowered me of like,
Well,
okay, wow, I can do this.
even if it's $10, whatever, it's not right. You've given it value that it would not have had if you give it away for free, right?
Right? It goes the same for many other things. That
Yeah,
just represents the
yeah,
big picture, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's pretty cool. And I bet it's not. I don't want to say bad. So how difficult was it? What was your process to find the six-figure chicks? How many stories are in a book?
So
And
the first book has 11 authors, so
okay,
11 chapters and stories. The
yep.
second book has 16.
Ooh,
And
okay.
then every book thereafter, I'm sticking with 20 authors per book.
Wow.
Um, so we have a great mix from Six Figure Chicks Phoenix. We have six-figure earning females
Hmm.
from a Southwest stewardess to, a nurse turned entrepreneur, business broker, and all in between. So it's great to have, like you said, I think it was you or somebody else, entrepreneur or intrapreneur. So the
Yeah. Mm.
entrepreneur is, somebody that works for somebody else but has that entrepreneur mindset.
So right, right. So that's good. And I, not that you think about it a whole lot, but I'm sure there are a lot of women who fit that category, right? Who don't even think of themselves as superstars or successful or
Right.
whatever, right? And
And that's exactly what
yeah,
the lady who worked for Southwest, Amber Harmon, when I first approached her, she actually, her husband came to me and he's like, my wife has an amazing story, she
yeah,
needs to be in your book. And she was like, well, I don't own a business. And I'm
yeah,
like, you still worked for where you're at.
yeah.
You should. And she does have an amazing story to share, but it wasn't even on her radar until she got involved, and she was like loving the whole experience. And now, with all of the books combined, it's an enormous community and growing of like-minded individuals,
Mhm,
all women with the same support and passion for others.
mhm. So that's pretty cool. I really like that's a great idea, a great way to put that together. How many books do you have so far?
So we're on the second book,
Okay.
where I just signed on the first author for Six Figure Chicks LA.
All right. Okay.
And then, so every state is thereafter. And from Six Figure Chicks, I've also created I think this is what you said. Instead of a nonprofit, what do you call it?
Oh, a mission-driven organization. That's right.
Yeah, so I've created that and
Good.
it's called Her Right to Rise, WRITE,
Yep.
and to empower all women, women that may not have the financial ability to, be an author or publish material, as well as women that don't have, the knowledge of where to start or how to get it,
Right. Right.
how to write her story or share her words, because words are so healing, and to be able to just get it published is just amazing.
And I'll bet it certainly changed. Like the flight attendant, she didn't think she was anything special, but I bet internally that changed her, right?
Yes,
Empowered, right? Empowered her to think
empowerment.
about herself as much more successful and powerful than she was before.
Yeah, and she's able to leave a lasting legacy
See, yeah.
with her son. Is like, wow, my mom's an author. And for other young girls to be able to say, wow, I can do that.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
matter who I work for, or if I work for myself, I can do it.
Right. Cool. Very good. Very good. So let's see what's going on in the future for you. So, what are ways that you envision Cloversy moving forward in the future?
Yeah, Cloversy is going to continue on its growth to even more success.
Oh,
Yes. I mean, I get so much pleasure out of being able to help our clients regain some of their time so that they can concentrate on their own business growth
mhm.
and see the pressure or see the relief in their eyes when they're not having to create their social content or make all those blogs,
Yeah,
um,
that's great.
as well as to give work opportunities to the team and grow the team. So I want to continue nurturing that business and seeing it, rise above.
Is there any new technologies you're bringing on board to either make things more efficient, artificial intelligence, or anything that's helps the team or helps the clients or that kind of stuff that you see in the future?
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for the latest and greatest, but not too much because I don't want to be, going down a rabbit hole. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've been using AI to help us, draft and create, start up the content. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that for a couple of years. Um, I love that as it gives great starting points. It makes our life a little bit easier because if you've been doing, social media content for years on end, sometimes your thoughts of ideas and stories are like a little dried up.
Yeah, they got to come up with new stories and new on new platforms but I guess
Yeah.
but deep down, really, people are people, right? And regardless of how they absorb information, you still got to get emotionally involved with stuff and tell that story. Yeah.
Yeah, and our clients, they not only buy the service, they buy us. They buy me.
Ah, that's right. Your value. Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. And you may and buy into your mission. I mean,
Yeah.
things like, by the way, are you a B corporation? That's a-
Yeah.
Good. Oh, so there's another value we didn't even talk about. So as part of your mission is to give away stuff. Like, yeah, so there's something to even talk about that I didn't even know about. So I just thought it up. So there you go. It's something to add value for people.
There's so much. I mean, I'm always looking at how I can better myself, better the business, better our clients,
Hmm.
overall experience.
Hmm.
And it's just trying to tackle them all at once.
There you go. Without being stretched too thin. Right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, where with all the the path you've taken from the beaches in Marshall Islands or
Uh-huh.
Australia or whatever, and now Phoenix where it's dry as a bone and the hot as hell, and well, I guess right, all the places you've been and all the different roles you've had in different companies or kind of wherever you work, and now where you are today is got this big company, dozens of women, probably going to be double that in the next year or two. Probably, I can imagine. How much of all the things that you put together would you attribute to just hard work, grinding it out, making the contacts, going through the motions, or a little bit of luck?
Uh, hmm. It's definitely the grind. Uh, you know, they say cheers to the grind basically. It's a lot of hard work. And just understanding how to run a business like we talked about earlier.
Mm.
I contribute a lot of my success to just asking questions, asking for help, learning from others. But, it wouldn't be here without my persistence and dedication to, really understanding what I'm doing and always learning and evolving and improving with what, services we offer and the team, expanding that. So, it's definitely, I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of luck in there with the people I meet. I feel so fortunate to have met you because
Yeah,
that has turned into, so many other things. And that was thanks to B&I. And
there
I
you
was
go.
fortunate to join a chapter years ago. So it's a snowball effect, but it's all about the people that you have in your circle of influence.
That's right. Exactly, exactly. And it's, one of the things we always talk about here is, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And there you go. All right. So that's really
Yeah.
good. Cool. All right, good. So let's so for everybody out there, if you know someone who is as impassioned, empowered, successful, you know, like Mel, then let's give me their contact information. We'll get them on the show, and let's be able to showcase their success, just like Mel showcases all the women that she does all over the country. So just remember. So now, if it's whether it's your business, your community organization, or even your family, remember it's money that makes those gears turn. Make sure your money is working the most efficient way possible. Thanks, Mel, for being here.
Thank you so much.